way he's coached and coached from the perspective of, your roster and your management, like the infamous, I've got my own bags and they're Louis. We know what those bags are. They're your kids and they're Travis. And it's like you're then going to coach for the first time ever without your kid being your baggage.
Right.
And then what do you got then?
Exactly.
How much do you like the craft of coaching then? How much do you like the craft of mentoring other people that aren't connected to your kid? And this is kind of what I was alluded to earlier, but maybe not as clear. How much do you like the craft of molding men when you may be looking at your son not being molded at the pro level?
Yeah.
And you're not there, you're not near it, you have no influence. You're kind of at Colorado with a bunch of kids that, hey, these aren't my guys. It could be different, for real.
Deion Sanders.
Deion.
All right, so there's a couple of things, of course. He's been doing a couple of rounds lately. They're asking him about the team, upcoming team, and are they going to win, and what does he need? And he's basically saying about the offensive line play is going to be the most important. That's how they're going to be able to compete in this league. Okay, but this particular thing I wanted to talk about is he reveals his plan for after his sons leave Colorado, because from the very beginning, we've been talking about a lot of speculation, and we've been talking about, what is he really about it here and things of that nature. Now, I'm just going to read the quote really quick here as I'm finding it. Let's see here. So they finished 4-8. Okay. He says, I tell them the truth, Deion says, about following his kids to the NFL. I tell them I'm a father, not a baby daddy. I don't follow my kids. I pave roads for my kids. I build generational wealth for my kids. I lead my kids. I don't follow my kids. So I do not plan on following my kids to the NFL. I have work to do here. All right. What do you say to that?
But will you lead them to the NFL?
What? What do you mean?
Well, he led them to Jackson State, then he led them to Colorado. Is he going to lead them into the NFL? I think he's just playing funny word games with what he's doing.
Yeah.
That's all he did. It was just kind of slick speech making. I'm not convinced. I just don't know. I think he's genuinely so connected to his boys, and it will be. I don't care what he says. It will be a challenge to not coach them. His entire coaching career has been coaching his sons through Little League, high school, and college.
Yeah.
And so whatever that looks like, whether they go into the lead and he doesn't follow them, or whatever you want, wordplay you want to use there, it will be a very difficult adjustment for him to do that. And it's going to be an incredible adjustment for them, because you can coach your kid hard in a specific way, but it's always unique to the relationship you have with your own child. And then when they're out of the nest, when they're in somebody else's team, that changes. And there's a different style of coaching there. There's a different relationship there. The stuff that when you're coaching your own kid, for better or worse, you're drawing on each other's entire experience together, from birth to being 20 or 18 or whenever you're coaching them, and that no other coach is going to have that dynamic, and you're going to have to sit and watch it and hope that it goes okay. And there's a value to experience, and I'm not saying this because I want things to go badly, but Shedeur is going to have a tremendous adjustment being coached by somebody else. I'm sure his dad is hard on him in very specific ways, but the next coach isn't going to be hard on him in those specific ways. And that change is going to be significant, and it's going to be substantial, and it'll be interesting and massively determinative how he reacts to that.
No, for sure. I can't wait to see it. This season is going to be very important for him in Colorado football anyway. But to see if they're going to be successful just because the schedule is so terrible. Like, they're successful is a interesting word, but I'll say they're going to be much better than they were last year. All right, and especially record-wise. So when they go into the draft to see what NFL teams, maybe they do send an offer to Deion and try to pair him away. And the thing about Deion is, because he plays the word games, you can't say he's lying or whatever. But yeah, he did say he was going to stay at Jackson State. I mean, that's what he told us. And he made us buy into the HBCU and the black culture, and I'm into this and this and that, and he ended up leaving. So like you said, the word games matter in Deion's case, because I think he's always going to do what's best for him and his boys in the end. What he feels is best, right?
Yeah.
And maybe they go to the NFL for a year or two, and he follows after a year or two, because
and that'll be the thing too. Like, let's assume that Deion stays at Colorado as head football coach. His son goes to the NFL. Travis goes to the NFL, and the way he's coached from the perspective of your roster and your management, like the infamous, I've got my own bags and they're Louis. We know what those bags are. They're your kids and they're Travis. And it's like, you're then going to coach for the first time ever without your kid being your baggage.
Right.
And then what do you got then?
Exactly.
How much do you like the craft of coaching then? How much do you like the craft of mentoring other people that aren't connected to your kid? And this is kind of what I was alluded to earlier, but maybe not as clear. How much do you like the craft of molding men when you may be looking at your son not being molded at the pro level?
Yeah.
And you're not there. You're not near it. You have no influence. You're kind of at Colorado with a bunch of kids that, hey, these aren't my guys. It could be different, for real.
What I see loading up is I see Shadir going to Dallas Cowboys. I see that loading up from a mile away. They have it. That's why Dak is going to be one of the first unrestricted free agents as a quarterback in God knows how long. Well, technically since Kirk Cousins, but he's better than Kirk. There hasn't been any quarterbacks on his level to ever hit the market. Like they can't tag him. They can't do anything. All right. The coach is on shaky ground as well.
Well, is part of this why they held on to McCarthy?
You know what I mean? As a sitting duck.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Again, if you fire McCarthy like most people felt you should have, and you hire a new guy, you try to make a good hire, you're thinking at least 2-3 years.
Yeah, you have to hold on to him. Yeah.
Now, if in your back pocket, if you see some scenario where we'll draft Shadur, we'll invite Deion to be head coach, yeah, I'll do another year of McCarthy and Dak. Mm-hmm. It'll probably end the way the other 5 years of their partnership have gone. And then I get to clean house with a shiny new draft pick and a head coach that's going to say all the right things.
Jerry's sitting on something. He hasn't paid any of those guys. I mean, at the very least, you pay CD because, he's one of the best receivers in the league. We what he is. He hasn't paid any of those guys. And didn't extend the coach. And for the most part, Deion has become a Texas guy. He's lived there for a while. That's where a lot of his camps have been. Yeah. So that would not surprise me, and I'm going to put that as like a something that could realistically happen.
I like it. Clip this one and keep it handy.
There you go.
Next January or February, maybe.
On the bench with another.
Circle it back.
Yeah.
Maybe March.
We need to do that more because you've hit quite a few on the head.
I'm like Kreskin.
We need to do that more for sure. Yeah.
I like that. That's I really see that. Because the one thing when you looked at the NFL is like, what's a good fit? And it's like, because the NFL is so fluid, because coaches typically don't stay around that long.
No.
You're kind of like, okay, he played in Atlanta. He played in a couple different places.
Mm-hmm.
But, they just invested in Raheem Morris, and hopefully he does pretty well.
Right, they just did that.
So the timing of Atlanta is probably not right unless Raheem just has a
And they just bought Kirk in there, too.
Yeah, and drafted Penix.
Yeah,
they literally said, no fucking way.
Yeah.
We're going to do everything possible to make this impossible.
Yeah, no window.
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah.
But, what about some of the little kind of red flags or concerns about your guy Caleb?
Oh, about Caleb? Yeah. He's having a mixed camp. So far, and but one thing about it is all of his teammates have been with good reviews and things like that. My first thing is I want to see him in preseason. I need to see him in preseason, and then just go from there. There's not going to be a ton of, he's a rookie quarterback, and you're supposed to give guys a little while, but the way they've built this team.
It's to win now.
It's like almost It's like you need to get close to what C.J. Stroud did. You definitely have to be a better Chicago Bears team than you were last season. That's for damn sure. Because they've upgraded the receiving core, the offensive line, the defensive back crew. Yeah. They've been spending some money, man. Yeah. So he's going to have some level of expectation. So I need to see, but that's my guy. So I'm going to down him.
No particular concerns right now. You're still rolling with this guy's the guy.
Yeah, I'm still rolling. I'm still rolling. I'm still rocking and rolling, man. Yeah, that's for sure. Now, they also said Tebow had a bad camp, and we see how that played out. So,
sure did.
Bad camps they do mean something a lot of times. So, who knows?
I don't think you can ignore a bad camp.
Yeah.
I mean, you could have bad moments. You could have moments where you learn from it, and that's okay. Like, you have to kind of play in a way, particularly in a practice setting, that you're taking enough risk to get to the edge of your ability so that you know what the mistake is and you know what the possibility is and what the limitation is. But so you can have bad moments, but I think it's very important to see how a player responds to the bad moment so that you don't have bad days, bad weeks, and ultimately a bad camp.
Yeah. And again, from what I'm reading, more of a mixed bag than a bad camp. Like Tebow, that was just a bad.
Yeah.
They say he couldn't throw a ball down the field 20 yards like ever in a camp. So it's not that. But yeah, we'll definitely see. I can't wait to preseason to get here. We can start covering that stuff for sure. You know what was interesting is like NBA preseason is like it's basically like a 0% non-factor.
Yeah.
Like some I don't even think people even know when NBA preseason is happening.
Yeah, it's not an event at all.
At all. You know what I mean? That's interesting. All right.